Yes, y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 9 to 5, but we are still married to the games.
Say it.
Episode.
Come on.
400, baby.
We made it.
It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router and
Hello.
Placencia and Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
And I actually mean thanks for being here. Because we tried something a little different this week.
Yeah.
Me and the boys were talking. We were like, all right. So 400 gets postponed. The party does.
Oh.
How in the world can we make this special with some of our community and still celebrate 400? So what we did was, for everybody that bought a ticket to the live show, we emailed out because, we didn't really know how this was going to go. We still don't.
Yeah.
We just started.
Yeah, there might not be any audio right now. Nobody said it in the chat yet, but
exactly.
Hopefully.
And so we got a chat full of people, man. We got those that bought tickets to episode 400 in the chat with us, live with us here, so we can kind of still feel like we are all together. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for supporting and for planning on making the trip.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. And first and foremost, I did ask the fellas, because this week was different.
Yes.
I said, what if everybody grabbed that old drinky drink?
What you sipping on?
And met me at 400. So I wanted to do a toast to my boys here. Raise your glasses. A toast to everybody. To my fellow co-hosts. Congratulations on 400 episodes, man.
Congrats.
Thank you for all your hard work,
man.
for always changing your schedules, especially when I'm on tour, and really making this thing happen. This is a full team effort. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Prost.
Cheers.
Prost.
Mhm.
Cheers.
Mhm.
Love you all. Oh, good. Lauren's home and the dogs are barking.
Of course.
Awesome.
Tim Router.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you're drinking, how you been, and what's going on.
I am drinking me some Real Sangria. It's kind of been my jam right now. I do the cardinal sin and I'm at it with ice, but it makes it that much more refreshing.
Yeah.
And,
What is cardinal sinish about that? I don't know.
Normally with like a most red wine-ish like blends, you
Add
it's
ice.
usually served.
Oh, so I guess I didn't know sangria is considered, or it is a wine. I didn't realize that.
It's a wine-ish. Yeah, it's
it's mixed with something. It's red wine and something else.
Cool.
Deliciousness, basically. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So that's what I'm drinking. That's kind of been my go-to for a while. Very refreshing, but I'm loving it. Man, ditto from last week again, shall we say?
Yeah.
Same old for me. Last week was a little crazy. It was Mother's Day weekend. I was again Lauren's balloon delivery boy on Saturday and delivered like 14 balloon orders. It was insane. And just kind of helping her out as much as I can, and she's still killing it and doing great. And Mother's Day, she was able to just relax. We kind of hung out with family for a little while, and it was perfect for her, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Still doing a little bit of school. I know next week officially is the end of school.
Yep.
Piper, but we're now throwing in some play dates with some close friends of ours. So we're, now that things have opened up a little bit, we're still being cautious, but we're just doing kind of close friends.
You're loosening the belt just a little bit.
Yeah, and that's really helping with Piper. She's had a few little emotional moments, a little bit more so this past week, just missing people, missing school. All of the teachers from her elementary school rode in a bus today, and they did this whole route around town, and so she got to see her teachers, and I think there was a little emotion there, and but man, this girl is holding it together really well. I'm really proud of her, and we're making the most of it. I mean, they opened up her cheer gym And so she did one tumble class this week.
Yeah, how did that feel? How did that first time back feel? We're a little nervous about all that.
Yeah, we didn't go in. They have kind of strict regulations where they go in, they can't bring a bag with them, so they just bring in a water. They take their temperature.
Oh wow!
Right then and there, and then in the gym, it's a tumble class, so they are able to spread out. So they're not going to be they'll be 6 feet apart or more.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Piper said there were 8 kids in there, and so that makes sense to me. Something like that makes sense. It's spaced out. It's not really a contact sport. They're really trying to tumble and get their workout on. And that's really what this is for. Next Tuesday is tryouts. So she will go in, and it's kind of like a thing. They'll ask her to do a few things, and that's kind of where they place her in as far as where her team is. So she's been doing really well. She's been doing some online Zoom classes. So I think really what's going to happen is just the conditioning side of it. It's going to be that way with all the girls, where they're going to get it back into it, and they're going to be very winded, but it'll be good. So school's winding down. We got play dates, and that's pretty much it, man. Just working and helping Lauren as much as I can as well, and we're in almost mid-May, and it's crazy already. So
yeah. Considering how much they have to socially distance themselves while they're in tumbling and cheer practice, I assume it's bad news for the one that's tossed in the air when it comes time to catch.
Yes, exactly.
Get away!
Let her fall. Don't touch her.
Yes, I think the bases are going to be a little wary about the flyers at this point. But I'm impressed with what they're doing, though. They're really taking it serious. Everything's being sanitized in the way it should. Definitely around here, I know some restaurants opened up, and you know what? Lauren and I are still like, nah, we'll just pick up still. I'm not. Yeah. We're not ready for that. I'm wearing my mask at grocery stores, and we're basically any more highly populated areas. I'll still put my mask on just to be precautious.
Yeah.
It's not really for me, it's for other people as well. So I'm just trying to be a good steward of that.
There you go.
On the gaming front, man, moving on with Final Fantasy VII. I'm on chapter 14.
Hey,
thankfully,
moving on up, Bishop.
Yeah, man. Thankfully, the weirdness has died down, so I'm not so worried about that.
Yeah. Don't talk about it anymore. Don't talk about it anymore. I'm right there. I don't know what's going on yet.
Yeah, but I'm not getting that weird sense of the game, which is great. And so certainly focusing on the combat and just progressing through the story. It's a good story. I'm definitely involved in it. So just trying to keep going, and it's been really, really fun to do. So I'm enjoying it. Nice. And that and Clash Royale, and that's it for me.
Yeah, baby, Clash Royale.
Yeah, man. We miss you, Gabe.
Chris McCracken, what you drinking? What you been doing?
All right. So I am drinking this is a Deep Ellum IPA, so it's a local brew.
Okay.
Nice. And Marc Boucher, this is a tulip glass, sometimes called a snifter. It is from the Pretentious Beer Glass Company. They are on Etsy. They make awesome stuff. You should go check them out.
Is Pretentious in their name, or you're just calling them that?
That's their name, Pretentious Beer Glass Company.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. And they make awesome custom, like handmade, hand-blown, like glass stuff. It's really, really cool. And because this is a Centennial episode,
yes,
for those who have been paying attention and been to them or just watched them or whatever, at 200, I had my Boss t-shirt.
That's right.
It was kind of in the vein of the Obey. And then last time at 300, I had Kratos that said boy. And so this time at 400, I had to keep the trend going. So
Yeah. What you got?
Let's see it.
Oh, hey, beautiful. Bravo.
Wait a second, it doesn't start with a B.
Yeah, that's true. For those who can't see it because you're just listening right now, it's a shirt in the same kind of style. It has Ellie on it. Of course, when I bought it, not only was like, oh, that's perfect, but also I thought I'd have played the game by now. That has not happened, but I feel confident that I'm going to still be like happy with my shirt purchase because
how about
I
this,
feel like
though?
the game's going to be awesome.
By the time we get everybody together, you will have played it.
That's true.
You can wear it again when
that
we
is
get
true.
together.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's going to be really awesome. So on the life front, just working from work now.
Back at the old
not working from home. I have been in the office Monday, Tuesday, and then today.
Okay.
The commute's a lot better because there's less people on the road.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then there's only about, all of my part of the company. So we're the company that I work for. We're like a little split off entity from them. So we're under them as our umbrella, but we're kind of our own separate thing. So the main company, most of those people are still coming in occasionally and doing some things, but a lot of them are still working from remote. And but my team and the editing team and everybody has been coming in pretty much. Actually, most of them have been coming in starting last week. I kind of just said like, hey, can I make it Monday? It'd be my first day in there. Yeah, that's just fine. Yeah. But yeah, kind of the same things, going in there, wearing the mask pretty much the whole time. I will say I have this really awesome mask. I think I posted a picture of it in the Discord.
Yeah.
That Stacy's cousin made. It has all these different controllers on the pattern. Yep. It's a cloth mask. It has a hole in the middle so you can put more things in there like filters and whatnot. It's really awesome.
I thought you were going to say there's a hole in the middle for smoking cigarettes.
For eating.
No. Yeah, for just eating, you just unbutton it and nom.
Yeah, for breathing in the corona.
It's like those old-fashioned underwear for the face. Just you button down and
exactly.
Nice.
The only thing about it is it's one of those ones that ties. It doesn't go around your ears.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool in the sense that it's more secure and it stays there a lot better. But when you're wearing it all day long, like I can't even get a drink of water without like, oh, gotta take my hat off and gotta untie the thing and bring it. So it's like, so I have this other one that's just one of the ones that kind of goes to your ears. One of the ones you could use like out in the yard, but it looks more like the N95, but it's not that kind of grade. We have two of them. So I've been taking one, and then when I come home, I spray it with disinfectant. I'm gonna take the next one the next day, kind of thing, just so that I can use. Because that one's so much easier. Because then when I'm working, if I needed to get some water or want to eat one on the snacks I brought, whatever, I just take one ear off real quick and then do it or eat lunch. Yeah, it's a lot easier. So that's been the route I've been going. But yeah, sticking with the mask stuff, got the hand sanitizer and the wipes and the one thing about the place that we were working at is they weren't really that great before all this craziness about keeping the bathroom stocked with soap. They were just kind of like, oh, it's out again, huh? So I brought my own soap up there. I mean, I was prepared. I was like, I'm going to make sure I have this. Luckily, I haven't. Right. I don't know if it's because they're more on top of it or if it's because hardly anybody's in the building. There's just the soap's lasting a lot longer. Regardless, it's been all working out just fine. It has been nice to be back with just in with coworkers and being able to chat it and discuss things right there without having to do it over, text chat or a voice video call or a video call or something like that. Right. So that stuff's been nice. I was a little bit bummed to be going back because I was just like, I just don't know, is the timing right and everything? Because Texas and then Dallas in particular has just not really had a slowdown. Like, even with all the things that they did, like, and they're like, we're going to open back up and you got to make sure you're 14 days and the trajectory goes down. Like, the day the governor said we're opening up, it's been going up every day. So it's like,
right, exactly.
It's like, we're not even meeting your standards. So can we shut this down again or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do like reminiscing and being there with my team, and you can get some more efficiency out of being there together.
Right.
So it's been the best that it can be, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Over the past weekend on Saturday, we drove over to my mom's house and dropped off some gifts, and then over to my stepmother's house and dropped off some gifts, which my mom is in the chat, by the way, because she was going to be at 400, or technically she is at 400, but she was going to be at the live 400. So what's up, Mom? Love you.
What up, Baba Brett Van? You the best.
And happy birthday, because her birthday was on Mother's Day.
Oh,
perfect.
Snap.
Yeah, her birthday was the 10th. Nice. Occasionally they line up like that.
That's right.
And then on Sunday we drove up to Oklahoma and basically did kind of the same thing, but for Stacy's mom. So the whole weekend was pretty much taken up with traveling around, trying to do some good Mother's Day stuff. And then outside of that, it's just been going to the office, like I mentioned before. And then on the gaming front, a little bit of Warzone, not very much though. Okay. I did download the new update to Apex. I think the new character, I think you pronounce her name Loba, seems really cool. I've not played it yet though. I'm definitely looking to jump into that. Been playing some more Inside on the place, or not the PlayStation, the Switch at night, like just in bed before going to sleep. And I have gotten finally back into Final Fantasy VII. I've had some time. I think I am on chapter 7.
Okay.
I think I just finished. My last thing that I did was I finished the level where you're going to one of the other Mako reactors. I forget which number, and you had to shut off all the lights, and you had the big platforms.
Yeah.
So whichever one that was.
It's the pedal on the right, Chris McCracken.
It's the pedal on. Oh, And by the way, I've got both I think there was only, unless there's more than 2. I saw 2. I saw 2 Materias, and I was like, I don't know how to get to those. I figured out how to get to those, and I got them both.
Yeah, good job.
Yes.
So I'm working on getting all the little things. Again,
Yes.
it's kind of the same deal. I'm still happy with the story. I'm still happy with the way the game looks. All that stuff is fine. The more I can play it, the more I can wrap my head around the combat.
Of course.
I'm not super sold that I love the bouncing back and forth. I like that I have that ability. And I don't know, maybe I just don't understand the systems still, but man, Cloud goes down like he's just a piece of paper. He's down all the time. And I'm like,
really?
oh. Yeah, he is, even though I have what I understand of his stats are the highest, and I play as him more than I do the other 2 or the other 3, depending on what part of the game I'm in. He just goes down super fast. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't know if I just don't have him spec'd right. I mean, there's 3 different defenses, and I don't know which one to be putting my stuff into.
You know what I think it is, Chris? I think that what I've experienced, at least, is when I'm playing as him and I'm really into it, I get really hack and slashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in there like I'm invincible. You know, and I'm just swinging and getting hit and swinging and getting hit. And then the health is so far out of the way to where you would look at it that it's not an apparent thing. You know, like above his head, like on other games.
I absolutely hear what you're saying, and I thought the same thing. I was like, maybe I'm just, because I play as him more than I do the others, maybe I'm just getting in the mess a little too much. I'm not paying enough attention. So I started on that platform level, bouncing back and forth, and you kind of have to bounce to Barret in particular more often because there's these turrets that are up higher, and he's just easier to take those out with.
Yeah, that's right.
But anytime I switch to Tifa, Homegirl just holds herself down, and she's got the weakest stats of all of them. But she not only can she fight, she just doesn't go down. And I'm like, I don't. Now there is one. I have a piece of materia. I have a piece of materia on her loadout, if you will. I don't know how to phrase it, where it does say something. I forget the name of it, but it's something where like, oh, if her health gets down, it'll just auto cure her to some extent.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I don't have one of those on Cloud, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the one thing that's making different. I don't know. I just know that she has no issue. Occasionally, Barret will get kind of low, and I'll have to address what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
But Cloud just goes down all the time, and it's just like I'm constantly like, yeah, I can do it, or whatever he's saying, and I'm like, doggone it, man, you down again? Throw this potion up, like, yeah. So I just got to figure it out. I feel like it's something I don't have spec'd right, or I'm not doing right, or I'm not dodging enough, or I don't know what it is. It's something with me. I'll get it figured out, but I'm still plugging along, still planning to keep it going. I'm actually really super excited to get to chapter 9. I want to see what all this weird stuff's about.
No,
so
just you wait there, home slice.
I'm excited about that.
Stream it.
Yeah.
Really? Stream it?
Yeah, it'd be so fun.
You're gonna be like
weird.
It's just just do it.
Okay.
This was my face.
Well, I will try to remember that I said I will try and stream it.
Yeah. Or
I've
just
been paying
record
attention to the
yourself.
chapter marker because they don't really, unless I'm just missing it. I don't feel like they really throw it up and be like chapter 8.
They do.
So I only know which chapter I'm in.
Subtle.
Yeah. So like the only time I even notice that I'm in a new chapter is when I go to save, because that's the other thing. There's an auto save in the game.
Yep.
But I feel like I've gotten burned a few times by that not being saved where I thought it did. So I go and save manually all the time.
I manually save every single time I'm getting off that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I know what chapter I'm in, because it says. So I'm like, okay, that's the chapter I'm in. So I'll try to pay more attention and see where it is. And if I know, I'll try to jump on stream, or at the very least bust out the Elgato or something and record it and maybe throw it on YouTube or something.
Yep.
I'll try to remember.
There you go. I love it.
That's it for me.
Nice.
Edward,
Yes, sir.
what you drinking and how you been?
I am drinking a White Claw natural lime. And I'm drinking this out of, it's called an aluminum can.
He's going gutter on us.
That's right.
He's going frat boy on us.
Yeah, I like it.
Exactly. Where's my red Solo cup?
That's right.
But no, it's going well. We had a nice weekend. The Tapmans came over and played some games, got everyone thoroughly hooked on House Flipper. Sarah,
Oh my gosh.
Chris has gone to the dark side. Oh, there he is.
No, sorry, I was just checking on something.
Sarah is officially hooked on House Flipper.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
She started, I should back up a little bit. Nathan Tapman, my brother-in-law, said, hey, I'm playing the Division 2. He's on the Xbox. Can you help me out? I'm doing this capital mission. I was like, yeah, man, definitely. I hopped in and realized, I pretty much only play on the PS4. can you help me out? Because I'm way below your level. So we played together for a couple of hours, and that's what actually I've been streaming this week so I could build up my character, and I've now passed him.
There you
so
go.
we can play together. But after I played for a little bit, Sarah asked if she could get on, and I was like, yeah, sure. And she got on to House Flipper right around 1 p.m. and played until 5 a.m.
Oh,
Whoa.
Nice.
Whoa.
What?
I can't even fathom that.
She's downstairs now playing it.
If my wife played from 1 to 5 in that same evening, I'd be excited.
I know. I was just like, she's like, I'm
seriously.
sorry. I was like, no. You go at it.
go.
Yes, exactly. And it's been really cool because ever since this whole Voldemort thing, we've been really busy because people are stuck at home. And so they're like, I'm not eating well. I don't know. My gym's closed. What do I do? And so Sarah, we've just been slammed.
Good.
And
That's
is
awesome.
Yeah, and this is the first time she was able to not work. You know, she's always got her laptop up. She's always working.
Yep.
And so about 5 p.m. on that day, she just kind of turned and she was like, I needed this break so much. I love playing this so much. I could cry right now. She's like, that's how much fun I'm having right now.
Nice.
Great. A little sense of normalcy.
I saw that
That's
she like
awesome.
wrote a blog post about it or something
She
like that.
did, yeah.
I was like, what in the world?
Right?
It's amazing.
So, yeah, it's been really cool just to see her have a game like that. So she was out of town tonight and she came home and she was like, I need to play some House Flipper. I didn't play yesterday and I got that Jones going on. So it was
nice.
really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Last week, there was a part in the show where we talked about hobbies, and Chris mentioned one that guitar playing and photography, that they're hobbies he has, but he doesn't get a chance to do. There's his guitar right there.
There it is. Well done.
And I was like, Chris, promise me that you'll at least try to do one of them. And this afternoon, Stacy sent me a couple little videos on Facebook Messenger.
Did she?
And I was like, oh, this makes me so happy. There's Chris playing the guitar.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I got home, it was out, and I was like, oh, I need to play that real quick so I can tell Ed that I actually did it. She's like, let me video. I was like, huh?
What song did you do?
That's great.
I just played a couple chords. Like, literally, it hurts my hands. I was like, doggone it, I got to get back on this, because it was not.
I was really hoping that she was like sneaking down the hallway and came around the corner.
Right.
And you're like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
He's playing Nothing Else
wish I could
Matters
play
from
that.
Metallica.
You again. Hello.
It was awesome too, because in the message she was like, Chris mentioned something about you wished he would play the guitar more, and it turns out all I have to do is open the case and set it there and he'll play it.
Well, I was afraid. So here's the thing. I know that somewhere in the case I do have some strings I had bought way back when, thinking I need to replace the strings, but I never did it. So when I picked it up, I was like, this thing's gonna be out of tune, strings are probably bad, whatever. And I went, brrr, I was like, oh.
Hey.
Nice.
That
All right,
sounds
then.
right. Do you know what kind of guitar do you have, Chris?
It's a Martin.
You're like an acoustic guitar.
I don't know, like, outside that. DCXIE, if that means anything. I can see it inside the little hole.
Yeah.
What I like about it is it doesn't have any kind of gloss on it. It's all just like matte wood, so it looks like I just built the thing. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Today, before we recorded, played a little bit of Overwatch. Actually played a lot of competitive Overwatch, doing some placement matches and just kind of getting it. I played a lot of Zarya today on purpose.
There you go.
So,
she's fun when you get the hang of her, isn't she?
She is.
Is that
she
the new
is.
chick?
Yeah.
No,
that's the bubble
Echo.
girl, the bubble Russian girl.
I can't figure her
Oh,
out.
Zarya. That's right. I always call her the big Russian. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. So
big
she
Russian.
stumped me forever, and for some reason over the last couple of weeks she's kind of clicked. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been nice. So yeah,
That's
it's been
really
cool. A good week indeed.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeesh.
All right, brother.
This is almost gone, but it was.
Episode 400 in the books.
You know what's interesting is that the bottle actually says bourbon whiskey, which I always thought that bourbon and whiskey were the same thing, but it just depended on where they were made is what made them either a bourbon or a whiskey. But this says bourbon whiskey, so I don't know, but it's delicious.
Sweet,
Nice.
sweet. Straight, right? No ice?
I did have one ice cube in there when I started to
Yeah.
cool down the bird, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so, let's see. This week, man, I worked a bunch.
Yeah, you
I
did.
was so
Yeah, you
busy.
did.
Yeah, you did.
And so I was telling you guys last week that Toby had a new album coming out of demos and stuff like that. And so to support some of that stuff, we've been doing videos. Did I talk about this last week? I don't remember, but we've been doing videos to like some videos of the new song, like one of those like everybody from home and everybody emails in their iPhone video and then I put them all together. Well, the problem is it would be a quick situation, but my video card in my computer does not love the fact that I'm dealing with 10 1080p videos squished onto a 4K, plate. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the scene is 4K, and then I've got 9 and then sometimes 10 squares going on of 1080p videos that I've taken down. They're all coming from different places. Some shooting with Android, some are shooting on real cameras, some are shooting on iPhones. And so, it's just dealing with a lot of stuff there. And so it's just not fast. It's a slow process for me. And so I've been doing that. That's been it's been challenging because I'm not a video guy, but it's been fun to learn something new. And so I've officially fully switched to DaVinci's Resolve, which I've been hanging on to Adobe Premiere for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Because the only reason I wasn't switching is because I felt too old. Like, I'm not gonna be able to learn this. And then one day I was like, I'm not gonna be that person that says they can't learn it.
Yep.
And so I've fully gone over there. So all the videos that you'll see Toby putting out on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, doing all that in DaVinci Resolve. I've done all of Final Fantasy VII, Game Better with Butterfinger, on DaVinci Resolve, because it's got such a good.
Oh yeah, Gabe, I forgot. Gabe, have you been listening to any good books lately?
Audible.com/ so I've been doing that, which has been really fun, and just kind of like, just learning the thing is cool, and it just works so much better.
DaVinci's a really, really good program, and it's free. They have a paid version, but the free version has like 3 things not unlocked.
Yeah, like, the paid version is only $300.
Yeah, and you can $300 in perpetuity. Like, forever. You get any updates from then on. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of gone back to the old school, which I love, and it's just really strong. It's like this is a weak comparison, but like I grew up using GIMP instead of Photoshop because GIMP was free, and GIMP did everything I needed it to do. And I remember like looking at tutorials years ago, and people would be doing it in Photoshop, and I'd be able to almost do exactly what they were doing in GIMP as in Photoshop. So so yeah, I've been just like up till just ungodly hours of the night working on that, and so I haven't gotten any gaming in. The only gaming I've gotten in is like right after our show last week. Me and Chris jumped on real quick because there was nothing to do that night. And then if I have like 4 4K videos that need rendering, I know there's going to be like 45 minutes to an hour. And so I'll jump on while that's doing it. I'll set a timer on Google and tell it to remind me in 45 minutes to stop. And so that's all I've been doing. So still no Final Fantasy VII. I think I put that on Twitter. That I still haven't played any of that, and I really want to because I'm right where Tim is, and I don't know if I'm necessarily feeling a ramp yet, but I'm just kind of like, what's going to happen, right? So I'm just excited to see what goes on. And so other than that, man, been just auditioning for voiceover stuff, which has been like good and nerve-wracking. The hard part about this, and I think Ed will be able to attest, some things you audition for and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And you'd go on to the next one, blah, 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 blah. And then every now and then you'll see one that you really want.
Yeah.
I hate that. Because like the chances, like me and Ed talk about all the time on the show, the chances of getting that job are so slim. They're not impossible. I can't say they're impossible anymore because I've gotten to do Crucible. And that was, thought it was impossible then. I wasn't even barely auditioning for the game back then. Like that was stamps of like, oh wait, just send in something, see if you get some feedback. I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can get some feedback.
Hey man, you got any feedback for me?
Yeah, got any feedback for your boy? And so that's just been a crazy thing trying to do that while I'm home because we just don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Our first show in August canceled, and so you're like, oh man, like what in the heck is going on? Like, is this gonna be forever? Is this gonna be just till football comes back on? So
yeah,
I don't know what's gonna happen, man. But yeah, we're trucking over here, baby. Jenny's really wanting to do the kids' bathroom.
Ooh,
do what?
Godspeed to you, sir.
What specifically?
Got it.
Yeah, thank. And so
just get her house flipper.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
So right now in our garage, we have a tub, a vanity, some tile, a new toilet, all sitting in there. So
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Oh snap.
So that's
Jeff
the
Swan
problem.
got here. Thanks for coming to your first Centennial episode, bud.
Hey, look at
Right,
that.
man.
Jeff Swan.
Hey,
Good
Jeff.
It's
job.
only a
Yeah.
digital one, so that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
counts.
Golfers
That kind of
clap,
counts.
golfers clap.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
It's about time, man.
There's your
Yeah,
first
goodness.
problem is you buy the things. Like I would be shutting it down like, I don't know, let me see when I got time to go to the store.
Right.
That's how you had to lay this out, you know.
I know. Josh Stapleton is saying in the chat that he feels my pain because they've been renovating their house. And so he said that even right now he's on a ladder taping up a window so he can paint it. And
Nice.
so it's something else right now. So wish me Godspeed on that, Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
You know what, Gabe?
about it.
Before
There's
it's about
something
it,
else.
you
Yeah.
said that you didn't get much gaming in, but the game you're in
Yes.
this week, we got to see Gabe's character Drakal.
Yes.
Oh
released.
yeah, baby!
Yep.
I get to
Crucible,
say his
baby.
name.
The
I
Hunter
get-
Spotlight
Heart of the Hive,
drop.
baby! Heart of the
Yeah.
Hive. Let's go. Let's go. Yes.
Nice.
Edward. Yes,
So glad to see that.
I get
Yeah.
to finally say that I am Drakal, and I have not been able to say his name for so long. I've gotten to say that I was a part of it,
Yeah.
and I got to
Yes.
say I was a voice, and that I was a character, but I never got to say his name or say what he looked like or how he fought.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, let me tell y'all something. That Joker a beast right there. You know what I'm saying? That Joker a beast. He come
Your
with
voice
his
must
ass.
have been hoarse. Your voice must have been hoarse a few days.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I can't
my
believe
voice,
it.
you know, what's interesting about Drakal is that it is one of those voices that just tears. What did Jason Statham say? He looks like you, Gabe. Yeah, Joker is ugly. I mean, we do resemble each other. But
Plus that axe you carry around everywhere.
yeah, exactly.
That's
I
right.
always have
Murder
with me.
axe.
I need to get a replica made. The thing about Drakal is, so you guys have heard him now, so his voice is down here like this, right? And so like doing that for 4 hours
Oh,
a day,
oof.
you walk away like this. You're like, all right, thank you guys. That was
Yeah.
fun. But what's interesting about it is that part of my voice doesn't go away. This never goes away. And so even though my talking voice will be hoarse, I can still like get all that out.
Oh, right.
Really weird, but I was really grateful. You know, besides the fact that I feel like spitting blood after every session,
There you go.
it's it was good to know that. Like, I remember the first time I did it, and I went back to the hotel, and I laid down in bed, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that tomorrow. Like, I really don't. And then I, got some sleep, didn't talk to anybody, just text the wife, and then I went back, and even though my voice was tired, I could still get
You
the
were
call
good.
out, and so that was
All right.
that was fun. So, oh man,
Special-
it's so fun.
Special request.
Yes.
You gotta say your line.
No, it sure is cold out here.
There you go. Yeah, boy.
What
There it is.
What I loved, Gabe. that
Bucket
you could
list.
never-
He
Check.
doesn't have a shirt on, so you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
What I love that you can never talk about is just the process. And so like people didn't know that you were like, while you were on tour,
Yeah.
you would have to fly to LA, do sessions, then go back and sing.
And I'm play the trumpet and all kinds of stuff. Oh my God.
I want to brag on this guy so much, but I can't.
You know what was crazy was I actually went to Toby because we did have a trip like that where we did some shows, and then on just the 2 days off that I had to fly to LA, do some call, fly back and do 4 more shows.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Toby, like, I'm gonna need a little grace when I get back, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a little bit of grace, because I don't know exactly how I'm gonna sound coming back. And so I just really, really protected myself. Like, so I would I remember doing those those specific days and just not making any plans with anybody. And so I would do the thing, and I would just go eat by myself, like lunch by myself, dinner by myself, go home, watch Netflix, ask for a later time to start the next day, get up, do the next day a little later in the day, not talk to anybody, and then fly back onto the road and not talk to anybody, and just hope that by the time we got to the show that I would be okay. And it was rough, you know, like you starting to skip falsetto notes instead of, you know, doing them all the way out. So
I bet.
All right. That's it. Thanks, Ed, for bringing that up. That's sweet of you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that was the one I kept waiting for. Crucible's been like posting a Hunter highlight. I'm like, where is he?
I'd go onto their Twitter feed and scroll backward. I'm like, did I miss it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, I know I'm following you, Crucible. Where is it?
Yeah, that was really fun. And it was so fun that it popped today before the show and everything like that, just so I could talk about it a little bit. So much fun. My gosh, what a blessing. All right, Tim.
Yes.
You got it.
I got it.
Well, let's do it.
Nice and easy this week. We got Apex Legends Season 5 for the PC, PS4, and Xbox. We've got Halo 2 Anniversary for the PC coming out.
Ooh.
The Culling Origins for the Xbox. We have TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2 for the Switch. And Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix for the Switch.
Hey,
Diva. Back to you, gentlemen. That's it.
Christopher.
Right.
Yes. So this last week, I believe it happened after the last week's show. Xbox had an Inside Xbox.
Yep.
And they showed a bunch of different things. And there is some kerfluffle on the internet. Because they said, we're going to show you some gameplay from the next gen and, you know, how it's going to be and all that's going to be awesome. And it was a lot of cool trailers for cool games, but it was like cinematics and what you see from a traditional trailer. And a lot of people left with a little bit bummed that there wasn't more gameplay. That's what they were expecting.
Well, wasn't gameplay in the title of the thing?
I don't know if it was in the title or not. Was it?
I thought it was.
But I feel like they said in a tweet, you're going to see gameplay. There was somewhere where the word gameplay was said.
Gameplay something.
It may have been, because I got to see it like sparingly, so I didn't even read the title. I just was checking in. I had to go back 3 or 4 times to make my way all the way through it.
Yep.
Regardless, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought they showed some really cool games, some stuff that I'd be interested in. Yes. Granted, it'd be nice if they had some other things, but they said they're going to be doing this on the 20th, I think, every month until launch. So there's time they got to spread this out a bit. They got to bring out a lot of things. Now, one of the things that they did show, because we know that Ubisoft is partnering with Xbox to promote Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And so this kind of bummed me out a little bit.
This is weird.
So I'm just going to read a quote from one of the guys off of Ubisoft, and he said, Ubisoft has always been committed to exploring new technologies, taking advantage of capabilities of new consoles to deliver the most immersive experience possible, which is why we're excited to be partnering with Microsoft to bring Assassin's Creed Valhalla to Xbox Series X. Currently, we can guarantee that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will run at 30 frames per second.
Why would you even say that?
Why?
I don't know. Number one, I don't know. So I'm over here on Twitter trying to be like the optimist, and I'm trying to say, okay, they said we can guarantee it'll be at 30. They didn't say it couldn't be higher and it won't be higher. They're just saying this is. Come on. I know. Look, I am the dude over here that's been saying, like, from this generation getting started, as we've been getting hyped for this generation.
Yes.
Next gen,
60.
I want 60 FPS or more on every game.
Yeah.
I don't care what you got to do. I want 60 FPS. I don't care if the game's not even 10 and not even 4K. I really don't care. I want 60 or better. And the whole, the PS4, or excuse me, the PS5, the Series X, they've been touting this whole like, we can support up to 120 and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So when you see this, man, is that disheartening. Because I have no doubt the game's going to be pretty and look really, really stunningly beautiful.
Of course.
Right.
I don't care. The games now look stunningly beautiful. I want a better frame rate with all those gigawops and whatevers.
Yeah.
Give me the frames per second. And I understand, like, if at the bare minimum, every game next generation should have a wham bam thank you ma'am resolution fidelity mode and a performance mode that lets me prioritize which of the ones is important. Because I know there's tons of people out there. Yeah, and there's tons of people. I think Ed's even said it before, like, I can't really discern the frame rate stuff if I'm remembering right, Ed.
Yes, I can.
There's a lot of gamers out there who can't discern that, but I absolutely can. And I want higher frame rates. I'm fine playing a game in 1440p if you've got me 100 frames per second. I'm cool with that. I really want it. So this in particular,
why do you think he would say that though? Like, I was trying to, because I saw your tweet that you were like, hey, they said at least 30. That doesn't mean it can't be 60. And I was like, what is Chris talking about? Like, to me, it's not like you say the lower number and say that anything above that number is possible. Like, that's what just rang so weird to me. Like, if you were to go buy your Tesla and they were like, hey, just to let you know, it at least gets 25 miles to every time you charge it. You'd be like, 25 miles? So, like, we have 30 frames a second now. And like a lot of last gen. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing that I can think, now this quote was a translation because a lot of Ubisoft is, in Quebec and other places that speak French. So it was a translation. So maybe there was a little bit of lost in translation. And the only other thing that I can think is it's like whoever this, I don't remember the person who actually said it. It's probably mentioned somewhere in this article, but maybe they were thinking, oh, this is just like a status report. And I can guarantee at this point in time in development, it's here. Because we've seen developers do stupid things like that before where they're like, wait, you wanted to know the cool stuff? I just thought you wanted to know about how many polygons or, maybe they were just that out of it to not know that, oh, these people want to hear that it's going to be 60. Maybe. I'm trying to give the dude a lifeline here.
Oh man.
But I am bummed out at this. I'm like, I want to hear, I can guarantee it's at 60, and then I know it can maybe go up from there. I mean, that is what I want.
Let me ask you this. Is there not an in-between? I don't know. I'm honest. This might be a stupid question, but like 30, 60 is double of 30.
Yes.
What if they would have said like 50 or 45? Like, is that even a thing?
Yeah, it is. Like so speaking of Mr. Stancil, I believe that they had an uncapped frame rate on Infamous Second Son. So there's times where I would play the game and I could tell when the frame rate went up above 30 and it would hit like in the 40s and the 50s at times. Now I couldn't specifically see those frames, but I watched Digital Foundry stuff. I was like, I feel like this frame rate's going up. And then I watched videos like, oh, sure enough, it hits up close to 60 at times and kind of flutters around.
Yeah.
So yes, there's other frame rates you can hit, but typically they try to, as I understand it, they try to target in increments, like 30 and then 60 and 120.
We have like 24, 30, 60.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But 24 is really more of a movie thing. I don't think there's any game that plays in that. Like, that wouldn't be acceptable.
Of course.
For a game.
I'm just talking about as far as the increments that we know.
Yes.
I remember back when I was watching this thing behind the scenes of the making of the Grinch. Like the original cartoon Grinch is 12 frames a second. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
oh, wow.
12, 24, that makes sense. And then you have 24, 30, it's kind of like, I guess scoring in tennis.
Yeah. I don't know why he quoted this. I don't know why he thought that was the thing we needed to hear. But it brings up a fear that I kind of had. That was like, crap. All these developers are going to focus on all that extra power, like having better AI and more light rays and more fidelity and all these other things, which is cool on the one hand. But it's like, I feel like there's a large subset of the community that's like, I want a better frame rate. And it may not be as many as the people who want everything to be in 4K native, but it's like, come on, man, there's got to be, I don't want no, I don't want to hear 30 frames per second on my $800 machine or whatever this thing is going to cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As someone who can't see the difference, I thank you, devs, for focusing on all that other stuff.
Yeah, agreed. I'm with you, Adam. Like I couldn't tell you if it was 30 or 60 either. So, but
I bet you if you saw 30 and 60 back to back, you'd be able to tell.
Probably,
I
right?
don't think
you could
there's
see it, like side by side.
I don't think there's any translation issues with French, because aren't numbers one of the first things you learn in a language? So, like, I would think
yeah,
that
the
they would
30 was
probably
actually
get those
there, but I
30s.
don't know. I just don't know about the whole like, oh, I can guarantee it's going to be a 30. That seems like just a weird
stupid
sentence
statement.
to make.
It
like,
makes no sense.
Why?
I feel like they would have
Maybe-
corrected it if it had come out and said 30, like, oh, we actually said 60, but the translation was wrong. They would have corrected that.
Yeah, that's definitely
I don't know.
not a lost
I don't
translation. Well, I, out of everybody else, got some really good news the other day.
Yeah.
And you guys know that, like, I am a ginormous fan of Jeff Keighley. I think that he, just from a putting things together standpoint, because I know a little bit about how that works and what he pulls off, is just masterful to me. I think he's got the face for it. I think he's got the charisma for it. You know, he's not overly charismatic, but he's not boring, but it seems like he cares. So it's like that great in the middle marriage of the two. This Joker, talk about some game announcement. And I was actually, because I've been such under this workload, it was Ed, I think, that text us that was like, this is going on right now.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah, I had no clue. And so I click on it, and it's this in the middle of this trailer. And I'm watching 3 seconds of it, and I go, "Oh my gosh, is that Tony Hawk?" and Ed put something in the chat like, "Dude," and I was like, "I know, right?" And it hadn't been confirmed yet. He was like, "I think so." And so, you know, my mind is just racing. I'm like, "What is this? Is this a remake? Is this a new one?" I was really kind of hoping it's a new one, if I could be completely honest.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to like Jeff Keighley sitting with Tony Hawk and some other lady. Sorry, no disrespect. I just don't know who you are. And and they talked about that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is getting a remaster and a re-release. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, I was so happy
I
about
knew
it.
you would be, man.
So for a few reasons, I felt like Tony Hawk, the brand, had gotten money hungry. And so they had started just putting out game after game that I thought was junky. Like, I didn't like Thug 1. I didn't like Thug 2. Like, Tony Hawk Underground. I didn't like those games. I really enjoyed the first 3 Tony Hawk games. The music is like legendary. The skaters back then were larger than life, I feel like, more than now. Maybe it's just because I'm out of it, but like, I just felt like you knew those guys, like Bob Burnquist and Bucky Lassick, and obviously Tony Hawk, because it doesn't feel like now, and I don't know, I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but I don't know that anything has been done bigger than the 900 since the 900. Like, that was such an epic thing at the X Games that year of him trying, you know, I don't know if people remember the story right, but it's the big trick competition. And so he lands like a couple tricks just to get a score up. And then he's like, I'm gonna go for this 900. Now, what gets lost in the story is that what we see when he's doing the 900 over and over and over again is that the competition's over. He doesn't land it in competition. He's just doing it for the culture at that point. Like, I know I can do it. And so it's just him over and over again. Nobody's going in between him. It's just, he crashes, he goes back up there, does it again, crashes, goes back up there and does it again. And then he finally hits it and the place goes crazy. And so it's like, you know, it's kind of like boxing. Like, I feel like boxing's in a weird place right now, to where there's no ginormous star like there was when Evander and Michael, you know, Mike Tyson were doing it. And so I don't know. The fact that this is coming back out is hitting all the nostalgia. And then I started zooming out and I was like, okay, can this still be a good game though? Because Tony Hawk Pro Skater combines skating with being a superhero. Like, nobody's jumping that high. Nobody is manualing for that long. It definitely, like, you have to suspend disbelief or I don't know exactly how that saying goes.
Yes.
But then they said that the original roster of skaters will be back, which is awesome. and then the soundtrack will be back. And
Mm.
oh my gosh, I was like, buy it.
2020 is the year for nostalgic games for you, Gabe.
Listen,
Dude.
I don't know what's going on. If Jesus come back in 2021, I'll be all right. I'm be like, oh, I'm sorry, Chris, we didn't get Metal Gear.
We're never going to, so it's fine.
Into the clouds. Get my
I'm
new
okay.
body
We
with
didn't
the
get Dragon Slayer 2.
Yeah. Sorry, Don Blue.
That's amazing.
So anyway, I'm so excited that Tony Hawk is coming back. You know, I hope that it sounded like from how they were talking that he was really involved in this whole thing. And so it was really cool to hear him say, man, I really just wanted it to be what it was, which sometimes is a mistake from the older generation. And sometimes it works. A mistake would have been if Final Fantasy VII would have just ported over exactly what it was to now, it would have been a mistake. And so they were wise enough to change it up enough to capture a new generation. But I think Tony Hawk was already fast-paced enough that it'll be fun for kids to play, even if they didn't play 1 and 2.
Yeah.
This won't be like Cats, the movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It better not
Please
be.
no.
Kidding me.
Did
The
any of
graphics
you guys,
are already better.
Did any of you guys play Tony Hawk?
Yeah, I did.
No, but now
I
I
played
want to.
once at your house, Gabe.
Hey, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Chris, you used to play it?
Yeah, because I used to skateboard too, and Tony Hawk and Bob Burnquist and things like that. I went to a live no, it wasn't Vans, it was Birdhouse, did a tour.
Yeah.
And they came to one of the areas in Dallas, and we went and watched them skate for a while, and then waited in the line to get autographs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I absolutely played 1 and 2. I never played any of the other ones, but I did play 1. I did play 2. I think I owned one of them. I don't remember which one, but I only owned one. But I definitely played both of them for sure.
Neebs brings up a good question. Do we think that younger kids would play Tony Hawk considering they didn't live through any of the Tony Hawk stuff? Like, do you think that name has lived beyond him skating enough to where you would buy a Tony Hawk game?
If you're into skateboarding, I think so, yeah. I mean, Tony Hawk's like the Michael Jordan of skateboarding. I mean regardless of whether you watched him or not, you know who he is, and you know his reputation. Like, that name means a lot, not just in pop culture and in sports in general, but definitely in the skateboarding world.
Oh, Lil Stancil says nah. He said he ain't playing that.
Oof.
All right.
He's like, it's like Steep, but on the ground.
It's like Steep, but good. I'm just kidding. Chris, what else you got, bro?
Wrong.
So in sticking with kind of the stuff some of the things that Jeff Keighley's been doing, he had another thing going on today. He talked to a bunch of people from Epic Games, which, by the way, this isn't specifically one of my news stories, but he's essentially on the Video Game Awards channel. He's doing this Summer of Games kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know the specifics about how often he's going to be doing it, but I think it's every couple weeks or every other week or something. He's going to be just celebrating games throughout the summer and talking to developers.
I think he said he had 2 months ahead of him. Remember, we kind of put out that tweet like, we've got months ahead of us to figure this out. So I think he's going to be doggone it. I'm a fan of his. Shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, if you need somebody, man, you call your boy. If you get tired of something like that, you know what I'm saying? You need somebody to interview somebody. The 4 of us got you, bro.
That's right.
You just need a nice redheaded beard behind you. Be like, yep, that's right. You just let me know. I mean, I'll do that. So anyways, today he talked to a bunch of people from Epic and was basically talking to them about their newly unveiled, that they unveiled today during this event, their new engine, the Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And basically just showing what all its bells and whistles are. Now, it was very tech heavy that a lot of developers are going to really understand. But Ed kind of mentioned this in our private chat earlier today, but he's like, they really did do a pretty good job of breaking it down so that like laymen like us can kind of understand what they're saying and why it's beneficial and why it's going to benefit me as a consumer and all this kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it, or really not that crazy, but interesting thing to me, is that their entire demo and the whole time they were talking was being played of a playable demo that they created in real time on a PlayStation 5.
Yes.
This was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked amazing.
So I'm just
And I
going to
would
say
play
some.
that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely
I'm just
would.
going to say some quotes from the Epic founder and CEO Tim Sweeney, because a lot of this, some of this stuff is things that we've heard before, but to hear these types of things from an actual developer that's working on these things and doing this. And again, Epic makes Unreal Engine for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's not
he's got no dog in the fight, so to speak, or no horse in the race, none of those kinds of things.
And
He's just making stuff.
And Unreal Engine 4 has been around for forever.
Yeah,
Right.
a really long time. So he goes on to say, I think, first of all, Sony has a massive increase in graphical performance compared to previous generations.
Nice.
But, I guess that's every generation. But Sony's made another breakthrough that in many ways is more fundamental, which is multi-order magnitude increase the storage of bandwidth and the reduction of storage latency. The PS5 puts a vast amount of flash memory very, very close to the processor, so much that it really fundamentally changes the trade-offs that games can make and stream in, and absolutely critical to this kind of demo, the one that they had done.
Mm-hmm.
Which they did say, while it's not a full-fledged game, it is a demo, but it is playable. Like you could have different outcomes if you were to play it again. You could do it, it could be a little bit different and all those kinds of things. So it's not that it was just like a vertical slice necessarily.
Yeah.
Sweeney goes on to say that this is not just a whole lot of polygons in memory. It's also a lot of polygons being loaded every frame as you walk around through the environments. This sort of detail that you don't see in the world would absolutely not be possible at any scale without these breakthroughs Sony has made. So,
Jeez.
we've been hearing a lot of talk
Oh,
about
man, goodness.
I'm
the
excited.
Xbox Series X and all
Wow.
the brute strength that it has. We heard about Sony when Mark Cerny had his, albeit boring, presentation talking about all the bells and whistles of the PlayStation 5. And I absolutely think that you should look at that demo that you see today and reasonably expect that, by and large, this is how it will look on the Xbox Series X as well. I'm not sitting here saying that the PlayStation, oh man, this is all Sony. Like, and they even came out
Right.
there and said, they're like, one's not better than the other. Like, we're happy with all of them. We developed Unreal for all from,
They
big
have to
PCs,
say that.
all the way down
and
to
Unreal's
iOS.
been
Yeah.
around for years too. Years. That engine's been around forever.
Yeah, they have to
So-
say that, though.
Right.
But what is cool about this, if you're a Sony guy, is because Sony's been really quiet on a lot of stuff outside of that one thing from Mark Cerny and the
Yeah.
pictures of the controller on the blog. They've been really tight-lipped, and Microsoft's been beat the drum, beat the drum, beat the drum, beat the drum. We're gonna have a thing with gameplay, with no gameplay, and then Sony says nothing, and Epic just goes out and like, hold my beer.
That's right.
And they just show
Yeah.
all the stuff playing on a PlayStation 5 live and not just in engine,
Brilliant.
being played live.
Yeah. Well, and
Like,
I wonder.
or recorded. It was recorded. It wasn't being played live, excuse me. But, it was
Right.
recorded live off of a PlayStation 5.
Yeah. And they didn't
Dev kit.
really make it absolutely clear until much later that this isn't a game coming out. This is a game we built to show this off.
Right.
So
it's a demo.
before they said that, as soon as it started playing, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting a PS5.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. The day before, as Chris mentioned, you have like this Xbox and Assassin's Creed Valhalla connection.
Yeah.
With the takeaway of, will at least be at 30 frames per second. That's what a lot of people talked about coming out of that thing and about how disappointing and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Xbox thing, not the
Right,
Summer's game thing.
Right.
Jeff Keighley then lets PlayStation show Unreal Engine 5 running on its software, its hardware, and shake the whole thing up. And it totally, if you rewind your brain back to when we were making fun of Mark Cerny for being like, listen, guys, don't get caught up in the teraflops. That's an important thing, but not that important. At the time, we're like, oh, I bet you're saying that because you come in 2 teraflops under the other guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they go and show this.
It's
And you're
efficiency,
like,
man.
maybe the teraflops don't make no
right.
difference. You know what I'm saying? And then every like headline that I've seen, right? Because during this whole thing, when we're all guessing what it is, you see like PlayStation 5's thing that'll help it crush the Xbox Series X. The thing about the Xbox Series X will dust the PlayStation 5. You know, you see all these things.
It happens every console.
And I tell you what, man, we make this engine for everybody. And the way that this architecture is helps us get the most out of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
On this system, we make it for everybody. But I'm just saying, this system right here,
Dude.
how close they put that to the processor helps us get all this out. Now, listen, we'll be on the Xbox One X2, Series X2. It'll look good. But the way that this one did it, if I was Microsoft, I'd be stomping in a puddle, Jack. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, it's that passive aggressive.
It's just like, oh yeah, I know that we're weaker by number. If you guys want to keep going by that, but I told you guys this before. If you have like a 5400 RPM hard drive in your computer, and you go get an M.2 PCIe card and plug that thing in and boot your system off that, it's going to be so much faster. And that's what Sony, it sounds like, is banking on.
It's funny because at that Xbox announcement day, like a lot of those games I was really interested in, and a lot of them looked really good.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed
Agreed.
looked like just visually it looked good. But this I was like, oh, look at this.
Well,
the audio listeners has got really close.
Don't you feel like it's the first thing we've seen that looked next gen?
Yes.
To me, it was the first thing we've seen that I was like, oh snap, that's next gen. That's definitely not happening right now. Like the light and the way she had that orb and like the
come on, man.
Like they did this one when it's the part of the demo when they got to where they're like, okay, and now we're gonna move the light around. You can see how all the light bounces off all the surfaces, and this is all really cool. And then like, let's go to this wireframe or whatever view, and he's got all this stupid noise. I'm like, that's a noisy crap image. And he's like, oh, this looks like noise, but every one of these is a polygon, is a triangle, and there's about one for every pixel. I'm like. Woo!
I know.
Like,
there sure are a lot of triangles in that picture.
Yeah. That looks like a mishmash of mess. And then you zoom in, it's like triangle, triangle, triangle. And look, to Gabe's point, he just mentioned it. Xbox is going to be banging too with their M.2, their version. Like, it's going to be fast. Again, I absolutely think, until proven otherwise, that when you play whatever game that's made on Xbox or made on the Unreal Engine 5 and it's on Xbox Series X and it's on PS5, they're going to look so dang close that I'm sure it's going to be minuscule, the difference, if anything. Yeah. So I don't think that this should be like...
Sure.
Yeah, this should not be like, if you're an Xbox guy, feel down in the dumps. Or if you're a PS5 guy, you should be pumping your fist because, you won some stupid contest.
But don't you think when you just hear 10 verse 12, that sounds like a bigger difference than minuscule won't be able to notice it.
Absolutely.
Right.
The one thing that I will say, granted, it was on this summer stream thing, and I don't think that this is necessarily what Unreal Engine 5 is geared towards. I don't think that they necessarily care that much. I don't know. Stancil could chime in. I'm not a game developer, and I'm not a game engine maker, but the game wasn't running at no 60 frames per second, so I'm kind of like, hey, it looked pretty, but how about you just dumb it down just a little and give me 30 more frames a second? I would really be happy about that.
Yeah. It was just interesting to see the playing field get leveled in a way that you would hope it would get leveled. You know what I'm saying? You want to believe Mark Cerny when he says this versus that won't be that big a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as long as they pushing each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Benefits.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Push away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, right here at your boy.
Who's got 2 thumbs and benefits from them pushing each other?
That's right.
Yeah.
This guy. So this is a weird story, and it feels like following in line of the Microsoft Studios thing.
Yep.
Sony announced PlayStation Studios, this brand to launch alongside of PlayStation 5. Now, I didn't know what I thought about this, to be completely honest with you. I love PlayStation's in-house guys. I love Naughty Dog and all this, and Second Son. I mean, what you
Sucker
call
Punch.
it? Sucker Punch. I want them to stay what they are, honestly. And I wonder if they'd want to stay in their heart who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's really dope to say, hey, here's our umbrella thing of all these companies. And maybe they'll I think they'll, of course, keep the imprints. They're not going to get rid of Naughty Dog's imprint and stuff like that. And, but I just thought, like, I like them sounding like they stand alone, even though they're still owned by Sony. Me personally, instead of just being under this like umbrella thing like Microsoft did. I just don't know exactly how I feel about that. And I felt the same way actually when Microsoft did it. I just wasn't as invested in those first party developers as I am with these first party developers.
Right.
What you guys think?
But do you think it's just an umbrella? Like that's all that it is?
I do. And I think they'll be a part of the PlayStation Studios family. You know what I'm saying? I know that they won't. That's what I'm saying. I think they'll keep their imprints and everything like that. But I just liked the forefront, it being like, and maybe it'll stay like this. Naughty Dog presents this game instead of like Sony Studios presents Naughty Dog presents.
In association with
Naughty Dog.
I don't think they would do that. Do you think? I feel like
I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to see it, but I feel like it's just an umbrella. And like some people are saying in the chat, it's like a Marvel thing. Like you have the Marvel universe, you have the Sony universe. And that's probably a good way to think of it. And then all of our developers that we love, there's no way that they're not going to have the first thing that pops up is Naughty Dog presents.
It's got to be, right?
It's always going to be that way because that's what builds the hype, not Sony Studios. I think that's just kind of an in-name umbrella. So I wasn't too like about it because it sounds like they're just trying to compartmentalize everything.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by it. It just, kind of seems like almost just like a renaming. It to me, that's how it felt like. It just didn't seem like that big of a deal.
Yeah, they've always referred to it as Worldwide Studios. I mean, even Herman Hulst, when he got his position, he was president or whatever that now moniker is of Worldwide Studios.
Yes. It just seems like they're pushing the branding of this one a bit more than they did of that.
I agree, but when you read a little bit more in some of the stuff in the articles that they've written about it and kind of the way, I kind of took it as almost we're using this kind of as our brand, our seal of approval kind of thing, which is you could argue is not necessary when you just say that you add PlayStation on there, like it's probably going to be quality or whatever. But like when Microsoft, when you start to play, you boot up a Halo game, it says 343 Industries on there.
Yep.
But it also says Microsoft Studios.
Right.
And then like on the box, it'll say Microsoft Studios. And then like a lot of times they'll do that with Nintendo and things like that. And they said that they're going to be putting this brand name on the box, that PlayStation Studio. So in a way, I kind of took it as like, okay, I think you're still going to get the Sucker Punch presents or Naughty Dog presents or any of that kind of stuff. Their names are absolutely going to be everywhere because Sony knows how valuable their studios brands are and how they have fans of those studios.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I think it's more of like, especially now as they branch out a bit into publishing a few games on PC and stuff, is like, that's like their brand mark that they're going to put on the box or the artwork or whatever to be like, this is from our quality teams. Like, this is not just, the third party, whatever, that's also on PlayStation. Like, this is PlayStation made. This is here's that red wax and our little seals putting that letter together.
Right.
Right.
So in that respect, if that's how they're kind of treating it, I'm kind of the same as Ed, and I don't particularly see it as an issue. I do get what you're saying. You'd hate for this to be like, oh shoot, we're just one big conglomerate and they kind of lose any of their identities.
Yeah, and that's all I'm hoping. Like, it just seems like to release the logo and all this stuff and like we're redoing this and these are our studios. I get that. I get that Sony needs to own something and they need to say that it's theirs. I just hope that it doesn't take away from the individuality of each place. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it will.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an internal thing for them because that most people, I think, know the studios, and I don't necessarily think they care about the conglomerate per se. They want to know that it's Naughty Dog or that it's Santa Monica Studios or like that's what they're into. So I think it's more of an internal thing.
And I just hope, and I think part of me saying this is coming from the ugly side of music, right? Like to where somebody's like, well, we paid for it. We're going to tell them it's us. And you're like, you know, when you see some of these imprint labels kind of go away as the bigger ones say, like, nah, man, that's Capitol. Nah, man, that's Provident. Nah, man, that's Warner Brothers. And you're like, yeah, but it was really like Motown gospel. You know what I'm saying? That really did the legwork. And like, that's whose name I want on the forefront, not, you know, Zomba or whoever the one on top is. And so I'm just hoping that it doesn't, there's none of that in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, even as it is though, like when you play The Last of Us or Uncharted, it's like the black screen with the white letters. It's what is it? Is it Sony Productions?
Sony Worldwide Studios.
Sony Music, or Sony Entertainment.
So in my head, I was like, oh, this logo is just going to be there instead of that.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's what I hope too.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I think they'd be stupid to take any type of clout away from their developers, and I don't think they're going to do that. I honestly think it's just an internal thing that they just wanted to happen or tighten up.
Yeah. I hope so. Edward.
Yeah.
What you got, Bishop?
Let me over on the PlayStation or on the YouTube channel and the PlayStation channel, oddly enough. Some Division 2 gameplay is there for you. Looking over at Game Pass on console, DayZ is out, as well as Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, it is?
Oh, it is.
I'm going to have to play that.
On the PC, Halo 2 Anniversary, as Mr. Tim mentioned, Endless Legend, and Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. And they teased a game coming tomorrow with just a pair of eyes I didn't recognize, but people said it's Final Fantasy. So I don't know which Final Fantasy it was offhand, but it was just a pair of eyes and it said coming tomorrow. And people are like, oh yeah, it's Final Fantasy 9 or something like that.
Oh yeah, it is 9.
Is it 9? Okay.
9 is good too.
Yeah.
9 is probably the last truly fantastical. Well, I didn't play 11 or 12 now I think about it. But like 9 was where you would like be somebody with a tail. I really, really enjoyed 9.
You like people with a tail.
Yeah, because there was something about like 10 kind of made the turn into voice acting, even if it was suspect at times. And like, I don't know, it just got a little different. Than 13 was the next one that I played that I beat. And it was a little like, I don't know, 9 still had that bit of fantasy about it. I don't know.
So I need clarification then, Gabe.
Okay.
Are you beating someone who has a tail or you're beating them with a tail?
No, I'm saying you can be someone, you're being someone with a tail.
You're beating someone.
I thought you said you're beating. Like, is that a new weapon or a material I don't know about?
Pick out your tail.
Yeah,
get back in here.
I just felt like it had a little bit more fantasy than like, than maybe 13, because I know 12 had some crazy characters in it too, I think. But I don't know. I just felt like 9 was like still cute and really fun.
Right.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Remake Yourself. Jeff is saying the main character in 9 has a tail.
There you go. See?
8 I did not like at all. 7 I loved, obviously. 8 I was like, bad, but maybe it's because I love 7 so much. And then 9 I really liked. And then 10 I beat.
Nice.
All I know is if they can just stop with the
that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's 2020. They're still doing it, baby.
God,
right?
It's driving me insane.
Oh, Bernabe is saying 9 is the last classic high. He maybe means Final Fantasy. He says high fantasy, but he says the last classic one.
Hey, fantasy.
Hi, fantasy.
Hey, brother.
And finally,
I'm going to Army Mother. What a show. What a show.
Over on Apple Podcasts, we have one new review.
Hey!
From Travis 071815.
07815.
The topic is deserves more than 5 stars.
Oh,
says this show was the podcast I had been looking for. I've been listening since Tim fell asleep during the show and have listened every week since then.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time.
That's a very long time. It was a long nap too.
What's the long nap?
I wish that one was on video.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, that would've
episode
been amazing.
94. Thanks, Spencer. Episode 94. This is 400.
Wow.
That was episode 94 that happened on the narcoleptic tiger claw.
The narcoleptic
Wow.
tiger claw. Yes, sir. Good times.
Not only does the show match up perfectly to my life, but the community makes you feel like family. When
Mhm.
my little girl was born 10 weeks early and only 3 pounds, we had to stay at the hospital with her for 2 months. The whole time we were up there, I would listen to the show and get a little time to have things feel normal again. Several in the community messaged me or checked up on us and my little girl and let us know they were praying for us. Not only do you get a good podcast, but you also gain a group of people that I wouldn't call anything else but family.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was hoping you were
nice.
going to say family. Let's go.
Come on.
Come on.
Woo.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank
Who
you.
was that from? Some 097 some.
I want to say Travis, and then a bunch of probably his birth date and social security number.
Sweet.
Travis,
card.
thank you. That is so sweet.
Amazing.
Mhm.
My gosh.
Amazing.
Mine too.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Yes, sir.
Well, every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you, do spoilers ruin a game for you? Can you still play it or enjoy it after that? Joey McPherson at Joe Boston 617 says, I got Last of Us Part 2 spoiled and my hope fell off a cliff.
Ooh.
Mhm.
I'm still getting it. I just hope the journey makes the game worth it like the first one did. I
Yeah.
definitely hate when people
man.
spoil things. Doesn't matter what it is. Why ruin my experience of something that you experienced already?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to put that.
Yep.
Nate AI at Mayhem Monkey _0,
Yeah.
or maybe Nate Al. I don't know. It takes some of the excitement away for sure, but how I get from point A to the story to B adds so much more context. It adds the why it ended this way or why this character did or didn't do something.
Yeah.
I do prefer to go in blind if I can help it though.
Right.
Yep.
I know that's right. I'm not gonna know how to say this name. Wakas.
Waka
All right.
Oh,
Wow.
You know
nailed it
who
on the
you
first
are.
try.
Yep. Nailed it. I think that I can definitely enjoy the game as long as the gameplay is good. Although, if someone ruined God of War's story for me, I'd definitely go Kratos on them.
Ah,
The Last of Us spoilers haven't reached me yet, but it doesn't matter as much because the gameplay is too good.
Mm,
Amen to that.
there you go.
Amen to that. Let's see. Over on Discord, because somehow in my stupors lately, I forgot to put it on Facebook. So sorry, Facebook.
Mm.
Let's see. We got Giant Yoshi.
Hey, new.
Yeah, welcome to the community, homie. My wife beat God of War and Horizon before me while I was watching. It took a
Right.
bit of the joy out of me playing it, knowing the events, but I had so much fun watching her play and enjoy it.
Yep.
That being said, one of the newer Star Wars movies was spoiled for me, and I was not one bit happy about it.
Mm.
Mm.
I know that's right. It's Sanibs.
Hey.
Buongiorno.
I may be able to enjoy it, but only a fraction of how I should have enjoyed it. First
Mm.
impressions are important, and if spoilers happen, all the thunder is taken away, and you just can't have the same oomph you were supposed to, that you were supposed to get by the elements of surprise. That's what makes good stories work, not knowing how it's going to be told.
Ooh, good point. That's good.
Ooh, someone sounds like they went to college. Chris Porter, I avoid spoilers like I avoid Voldemort. When I know for sure I'm buying a game, regardless of reviews, etc., I go on total lockdown. Don't watch trailers, don't read previews, nothing. I
Yeah.
want to go in knowing absolutely nothing than what was shown in the first teaser.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
That said, I had a pretty big moment spoiled for me in Jedi Fallen Order by a Snapchat news story of all things before I got the chance to play it. I glanced at a headline and it gave away that a certain character appears in the game. I was really annoyed when I saw it, but I wouldn't say it ruined the experience. In the end, I absolutely loved Fallen Order. It was probably my favorite game last year, but during the entire playthrough, there was a little voice in my head going, I wonder if the character will show up now.
Yep.
When they did finally appear, it was awesome, but it would have been nice for that moment to have been a complete surprise.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. That is so good. Thank you guys so much for the questions. You know where to find us. Facebook.com/married to the games, Twitter.com/MTTGcast, like Ed said, and some of you are YouTube.com/married to the games. Our family's with us in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you're thinking about some stories because we got that section coming. And if you'd like to throw $1 in the tip jar, you can definitely do that at patreon.com/MTTG. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And Chris.
Yeah. Come on, man. Like, come on. We're on camera.
I know. Why
you can't edit all this out?
I was so hoping. I was like, there's Chris's window. There it is.
There it is. Just give it to him. Give it to him.
Oh, jeez. I got nothing. I really got nothing.
Quinn, you got our family's watching. Your mama's watching.
You know what? Nick in the chat? Come on now. Rate us on iTunes. Jeez. And
why?
I'll play some more of this guitar for you.
Yay!
Those of you listening can't see it. I'm pointing at my guitar.
Boom, 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 boom,
boom. Gracious, man. Oh, look, let's just make a new rule. Always go to Tim. Always.
Right?
No
the man's
way.
prepared.
I know.
That's not how improv works.
And
it's about quality.
And when we go to, it's quality for everyone else but you, bitch. Well,
I knew it. Like, I always get so, like, hang on. I always get so nervous. I'm like, I'm looking down at my little thing. Did I write anything? No, I didn't. What can I think of really quick? No, he's going to go to Tim, right? Like, Ed hasn't gone in a while. It's going to be Ed.
I'm prepared, man. I am prepared.
You want to know how my brain works?
How?
I'm like, we're on video, people are watching, and his mom is in the chat. You got to go to Chris.
That's right.
Well, perfect. That's nice. That is nice thinking, but always incorrect. Always go to Tim.
Always incorrect.
Well, let's get into some questions.
All right, man. We got a new phase in here. I got my hat on backwards. It's time to change up the background. Let's go playroom style. Let's do this.
Yeah,
I'm in Piper's playroom, so we're gonna keep.
We're going
like
to background. So okay.
If there are any games that you would like, by all means, I'll be sure to pull them out for you. We got this. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Question: Discord, Quarantino, Beefo. At what point in the last 400 episodes did you realize you were in the midst of a dynasty that's comparable to the 90s Bulls? Well, let's not get that crazy, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's talking about watching the Golden State Warriors go on their run while this show was on.
There you go. Let's back it up just a little bit. 90s Bulls, and let's I don't know.
All right.
We'll see.
That's hilarious.
Shady Gamer, Nick Schaefer. I know I'm not the only one who's extremely excited to see our MTTG fam leave their mark in the world of video game voice acting. That said, what game has made you stop in your tracks and admire the voice acting / music? For me, it was hearing Logan Cunningham as the narrator in Bastion.
Ooh.
Nice.
You know who I really liked was, I really liked the voice acting in, I'm going to try to go off the beaten path here because there's some, there's some games that we could all say, right?
I know you're going to steal mine.
No, I'm not going to steal yours.
Yeah,
I'm not going to steal yours. I really like the voice acting in The Order 1886.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See?
Okay. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the game looked amazing. I thought the voice acting was really good. The game was
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah.
All 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Right.
What you got, Ed, since you thought I was gonna steal yours?
Everybody's gone to the Rapture.
That was good.
And that you don't even see characters. It's all voice. And
Yes.
oof.
Lim made it. Lim's here.
Lim!
Hey, what up, Lim?
that's
What
awesome.
say you, Chris?
As someone who doesn't do voiceover, I kind of maybe get a little bit more blown away than those of you who do. Like you pick out different things than I don't. But I honestly got super blown away by Overwatch.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
Overwatch
the
is really
amount
good.
of differentiation between it all and all
Yes.
of its quality, like really solid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty blown away by that. And that with the animations, everything, when I just saw it, I was like, doggone it, this is a good game.
Yes.
Yeah, they do a great job with that.
That is, I mean, that's if you have a game with more characters than one, that's the game to aspire to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
when you do all those, they knocked it out the park with that one.
Yeah, they did.
I'm to tell you what though, I'm just waiting to be knocked off my socks whenever I see gameplay on Crucible. Yeah, baby.
Sure is cold out here.
It
sure is cold out here.
See, all of you guys could have done it.
And my
Whatever.
Axe don't make fire. I'm cold.
Tim, have you had a game that the voiceover and soundtrack blew you away?
Yeah, man. Just recently when I played Firewatch, man, I was blown
yeah.
away.
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
at
that's a good
how-
one.
How fluid and just the voice acting was just perfect. It was
Yep.
really great. It was so down to earth, and I was just like, man, this is really good. So
That's
yeah, I really
awesome.
enjoyed that one.
Sick.
All right,
question.
Boomerman Guido, what is the one thing you miss eating in quarantine, and why is it Bojangles' beautiful buttery biscuits?
I'm gonna assume you know my answer.
What do you miss eating, Ed?
Nothing. We haven't changed it. We get HelloFresh.
You get HelloFresh, absolutely.
I don't miss going in. I don't miss like eating anything. I miss going to restaurants
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
and like sitting there across from Jenny with no children and just being able to just look at her and talk and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Well, we did, maybe this doesn't count because we did technically have it one time well, actually, I'm going to say two answers. So the one that we did have one time during quarantine is pizza. Our favorite pizza place is called Hypothetical. I just miss being able to have that whenever I feel like having it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is Mexican food in general.
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh,
have
yeah.
not had, the one time we kind of had Mexican food is when our buddy made a bunch of fajitas and gave us rice and beans and stuff like that. Like that's the closest we've gone. And it was great. It was really, really good. But like we haven't been able to eat at any of our favorite Mexican or Tex-Mex restaurants at all. And so
Yeah.
really looking forward to getting that at some point.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gabe. I haven't really missed a whole lot because I've been ordering at our favorite Mexican place, our favorite Chinese place. I miss kind of the ambiance and everything, and I think it's, I just think it's one of those. Nice.
If you're not watching, if you don't go to
Yeah,
YouTube
right?
and watch this show after,
it's getting
Oh
good.
my
it's just all kind of stuff
That's
going on over here.
amazing.
right
That's
now.
amazing.
All
Yeah,
right, you
so-
know
but
what?
yeah,
I'll
I
get
miss
my
the
phone. Where's
ambiance
my
and just
phone?
being able to go and sit and do that rather than picking it up and coming back to the house. But I mean,
Yeah.
as far as food, there's nothing I've been craving that I haven't been able to go and get.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, that's good. All right, moving on to Facebook. Joe Felix, what games are y'all most excited for? And then he listed, I guess this is his 4: Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Ghost of Tsushima, and Dying Light 2.
Yes.
I mean, those are the big ones.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I've got to say, I'm really excited for this next half of 2020, as garbage as this year has been everywhere else. 2019, I think, was, but I think 2020 and second half of 2020, I feel like is stacked. And so I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to it. So I'm kind of right there with you. Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Ghost, and I'm going to throw in Valhalla as well.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna say Overwatch 2. I
Yes.
I want a reason to go back and play some more Overwatch, and I've been out of it for so long that I'm trying to encourage all my buddies that I want to tell play the Overwatch now to wait and play Overwatch 2 so we could just kind of all start together. Or something like that. Yeah. Ed, did you say one? Are you just agreeing with the other ones?
Yeah, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Overwatch 2,
Tony Hawk, Pro Skater,
Pro Skater, Yakuza 8.4, all the good ones.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Chris? Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
Oh, now this is getting.
Yeah, this is getting
weird now. I'm sticking with my playroom theme. So just so you know.
The one that I think I'm looking forward to the most is The Last of Us 2. I am super excited about Valhalla because the setting seems cool, and I really, really enjoyed Odyssey. Yeah. And that's for the last little hurrah of this generation. That's all I can really think of. I'm not super, and haven't been the whole time, like jazzed about Cyberpunk. I mean, I appreciate it and I respect CD Projekt Red and everything like that, but it's just never been something I got super gaga about like everybody else did. Yeah. And I'm still kind of in the same spot. I mean, I'm not going to say I won't play it when it comes out. I may, get caught up in all the hype about it, and I may go ahead and grab it, but that's just not one that's really been on my radar super heavy of everybody else. Yeah, super heavy. So I think Last of Us 2 is really the last one this year that I'm like super hyped about. And then when we found out about Valhalla, I was like, yeah, that looks cool. I envision myself buying that one too.
Nice.
There you go.
Yep, that's awesome. Eric Thompson, no question, but hope that you'd given even a moment of dialogue to Extra Life. Fundraising in this environment comes with extra challenges, but we are soberly presented with the extreme needs that hospitals and medical professionals are facing. That certainly extends to children's hospitals. I am hopeful for a strong representation and effort this year. Thank you for spreading the word. I wanted to bring this up because he is definitely our designated Extra Life. And I think it's important to start thinking about that because of what the situation we're in now. Because think about it, we got a lot of hospitals that are now, you can debate kind of the data. Some are a little bit more crowded than others in more populous cities. But, this Voldemort thing is going to take up more space, more room, more resources, more staff. And so these poor kids, they will still get the care that they need, but are they going to get all of the right care in a timely manner? Yeah, I think it's important. We got to remember, and I 100% am confident in our campaign this year. I was so blown away by last year.
Yep. That was crazy. Last year was crazy.
Our family is ridiculous, and I'm certainly hoping, even in this weird economic time as well, that our family will pull through like it always does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're pretty consistent. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Good Jeffrey, reminder.
Yes,
yeah,
thanks,
absolutely.
Eric. Jeffrey Wright II. Aside from adding people, how have you guys changed since episode 001? I laugh thinking about Gabe and Tim not wanting to download their games in the early days.
Man, I'm still fighting that digital thing, man. I still buy so much stuff physical. It's crazy.
Yeah, I still do too.
I don't know. What do you think? We really should ask Chris and Ed. They will probably have a better picture of what's changed about the show than me and you might be a little too close to it. What say you, Chris? What do you think has changed the most about the show since the beginning?
This might sound a bit silly, but the biggest change was moving to 4 people from 3. Look at that beautiful, beautiful man. And I, even though I was, you could make the case, a partial beneficiary of moving to 4, even I was like, it's always been 3 and I've loved 3. Is that going to work or what? Maybe that'll be too much. I don't really know. And I mean, I felt it worked pretty quickly. I was like, oh, this works. And I think it's been great to see that the audience thought the same thing, but that's probably the biggest dynamic from the other two, not only factually, but just it felt like that was from an outside person that was just listening that whole time, that's a big change.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask going in. Yeah. And that's a lot to potentially change about the show.
Gabe, I seem to remember when we had this conversation after we had talked with Tim that we were just like 3 or 4, doesn't matter. I felt like, or were we on the fence? I couldn't remember.
What happened when we first, this is what's funny about when Tim first left and we were like, me and Tim are talking about, me and Router are talking about it, and we're like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Because you got to remember, Ed and Chris had already taken over on the YouTube channel. And so they were already kind of part of the family here. And so it wasn't like some big leap to think about them on the show, besides the fact of them not saying yes or no about being on the show, you know, not asking them yet.
About being
but we
an
had
actual
all
host.
these plans because we didn't know how long Tim would be gone. And so we didn't know if he was going to come back. We didn't know if he was just like, I have to be a dad, and so I can't be on the show.
Yeah.
And then a week later, he'd be like, I'm done being a dad. Let's go back.
Yeah, exactly.
To the show.
So I remember when me and Tim talked about it, me and Router, we were like, all right, why don't we do like a couple weeks with just us, and then we'll ask some people and blah, 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 blah. But I think I just got really excited about the idea of Tim and Ed, Chris and Ed being on the show. I talked to Tim. I was like, man, what do you think about asking Chris and Ed? And the week after,
we didn't even have a show where it was the two of us.
No, I think we had Chris on the very next
was the first
episode,
one,
and then we did one with just Ed the very next episode, and then they all and then everybody was there. So it was crazy.
Yeah,
that was awesome though. Oh shoot, you can't see the head on this one. Doggone.
Gabe.
Sorry.
Gabe.
It's a picture of Ed's face on that body. I just
Gabe
can't.
gets one drink in, and then we see abs.
Oh no, sorry. Good question though. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Where I lost my place. Jedi Gamer. Question from Ed. What is that?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Awesome.
That's your boy back in the day with them dreads going on, baby.
That's when Gabe and I were scanning our faces to put it into The Sims.
Yeah.
That's what that picture is for.
All right, Jedi Gamer. In honor of episode 400 and the finale of season 40 of Survivor, if the four of you had to spend almost 40 days on an island in Fiji, who would get voted off first? Who would find the most hidden immunity idols? And who would become the ultimate survivor and win the $1 million?
I feel like Chris would find the hidden immunity idols.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you, just from your gameplay style, you're always checking every nook and cranny.
Yeah. I feel like Chris plays that way too, though. I don't know.
I'll get voted off.
I probably don't play it quite to the level of you, but like if I know they're there, like those materia that I saw, I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to get those.
Right.
That's right.
They didn't put them there if I couldn't get them.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'd probably get voted off first because I'd probably be the first one to get hangry on a show like that.
I'll be right there with you, brother. I would be like, I gotta eat something. Kick me out.
You're right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think I think it's toss up between Chris and Ed winning. There it is. There's the sultry look. There's that sultry look.
That's the picture from the Avalanche photo shoot. Because we did a photo shoot. Just kidding. Who you think would win, Chris?
I feel like Ed would win. I do.
Mm-hmm.
He'd figure it out.
Yeah.
He'd find a way.
That makes sense. I like that.
Yep. All right, cool. Mayhem Monkey, what is your most memorable moment in these past 400 episodes? Congrats on making it to 400. Can't wait to see what the future holds.
Ooh. Most memorable moment.
That's a good one.
I would say when it was me, Tim, Chris, Ed, Gil, and Stancil in Los Angeles at E3 a couple years ago. That had to have been, that's my most memorable moment. Like that was, I feel like secretly inside, I wanted to be on the podcast so we could get to E3. And me and Router and Hall never made it. But the fact that all of us made it with Gil and Stancil in tow was
so
just amazing.
So good.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that one. I think that was definitely one of the most memorable because,
Mm-hmm. Ed, you got one?
You know, I'm gonna, that was my first initial reaction. I'm gonna go even more specific and say during that E3 Los Angeles trip when Chris finally got there.
Yes.
Oh, it was such a trek.
Oh.
Oh,
Now he's humble
showing off.
bragging.
Now
Now he's
showing
humble
off.
bragging.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No big deal. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Go ahead.
Oh,
What
look
we
at
say?
me. I'm a voice actor now. Look at me. Oh.
Gabe met Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. That's funny.
Oh, that's good.
Chris, you got one? Most memorable moment?
It's really hard to not say E3.
I mean, that was a time. Wasn't it a time?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it was. But just for the sake of being a bit different, and all of the Centennials have been special, specifically to me. Well, I guess to all. Well, not Ed. I was gonna say to all of us because we've all been there. Because I actually, as just a listener, made it to 100.
Yeah, that's right.
And then to 2 and to 3, you know, as being part of the show. But while one was really super special because it was so intimate.
Yeah.
300 was just awesome.
Ooh,
I loved 300, and you know, I almost don't even want to bring it up, but it's like 400 was going to blow it out of the water, guys. It was just going to. It was going to. I mean, it just was. And so I know right now I'd be saying, tonight is it, the new one, you know, if we were having the original plan, and it will come. It will come. We're not saving dessert for a little bit later on. Yep. It's going to come. But 300 and just it was really good.
That was the one, wasn't it?
I will say runner up for me was the feels during this past holiday one.
Yeah. This last holiday was
That's
crazy.
a very good answer.
That was something special, and that was something that wasn't just us, that was everybody, this whole family. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
right.
One thing I did love about that.
We all came together for that one, boy.
Yep, it was awesome. At Shane Woe, if you had to choose a game mechanic to sum up yourself, which game mechanic would you choose?
That's an interesting question.
I like it. Yeah.
Myself.
If there was a game mechanic, I would say inverted controls. Because in my profession, sometimes you got to look at stuff in a different way. You can't just be like, yeah, we'll do that like that. You got to be like, how can we flip this to make this work for the masses? And so I'm going to say inverted controls. Ed, what about you? That's a tough one. That is tough.
That is a tough one. Wow.
Chris, you got one?
Okay, I'm going to give you the first answer, that knee-jerk reaction that I thought.
Okay.
But it makes absolutely no sense.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I just thought it instantly, fast reload. I wanted to. I like doing things fast, and I like it happening right away. I don't like having to wait on things, and that's the same thing in shooter games. I want the fastest reload. I don't have to wait on this. Like, that's why I don't use LMGs, because I don't like put the thing and then tap it, and it looks kind of pretty, and I'll slap the thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't have time for that. But that makes no sense in real life.
Lim said photo mode.
Yes, exactly. Of course.
Oh my gosh, that's easy.
But in keeping with that same spirit, I would say high frame rate, because again, I like to be smooth and fast and right
let's
there.
Go. I like it. I like it. Tim, you got one?
Whatever the default.
Yeah. That is right. Whatever the default.
That is my game mechanic. Just let me go. I want to get in there and get going.
I love that. That's hilarious. That's so funny. All right, Ed, you got one, bub?
I'm gonna go with custom matches in Overwatch because you can just play with your friends and do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm down for that. That's a good one. I like that a lot.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, in the chat, I was
just
back here someplace. Neebs asked me what was my favorite moment of the Final Fantasy VII remake so far. Man, this is gonna sound like a weird answer. The opening.
Okay, good.
The opening was my favorite part. Like when the open first happens and you see how it's recreated, you see that they added to it from the demo. And if you guys go back and watch that video, I'm freaking hype when that thing comes on. Hollering and everything. So yeah, I would say that was my favorite part of Final Fantasy VII.
Nice. Lil Stancil from over at the chat. When you started the show, did you want or expect it to go this long or have this kind of community?
Man,
we wanted it and we got it. We didn't expect it.
You know what's crazy? I don't think I even took community into account early on.
No, we didn't. We were just like, how can we get out there and just talk?
Right. How can we get out there, just do our thing? And
think about it. I think we wanted to kind of be that news podcast. Like we wanted to get into games with a different perspective. It was all about the married to the games life and just our lives. And I think we focused more on that. And little did we know there were so many other people like us. And so I think it just naturally happened, which I love. It's just, it was a natural progression, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I never expect any of this. And it's just amazing.
When you guys started, to the first part of this question, did you expect it to go this long? Did you guys have any kind of a time frame?
I didn't. I was just like, let's just do it. Like this was just a little side thing that we enjoyed doing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you don't always see behind the scenes, and I feel like there's probably 2 or 3 times the show could have stopped somewhere along the line and didn't. And so I think that when we were first like, yeah, let's do the show, I mean, the third show was a surprise. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, well, here we still are, here, the third show. You know what I mean? And then when you do episode 100, you're like, oh, freak, we've been doing this for a minute. And then 200 comes along with that's totally a different iteration than just 100. And now from 200 celebration to 400 celebration, it's been the same iteration. And so it's just really interesting. I don't know. You just can't call stuff like this.
So to the opposite effect, was 100 the first major time that you were like, yeah, we're in this for the long haul?
I don't think so. I think
we celebrated that just as a milestone that we got there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think we just went in like just young and dumb in doing this. And like just even thinking anybody would show up, I think was probably pompous on our part.
Yeah, but I mean, but afterwards, after it was done and the hang, was that like we're doing this?
It was more about the community came to life there, with Chris and Jeff Swan there and us doing PT together and looking it up, and everybody's like right over my shoulders and we're all scared together. And in that studio, it was kind of like it's the beginning of anything that you would want, you know what I mean? Where like the people that really love you are there and you're in it together, and you're like, hey guys, I don't know where this is gonna go, but this is dope while we're here, you know what I'm saying? And then to look back and see Chris now on the show is such a treat, because you're like, man, he was the guy that drove from Dallas, you know what I'm saying, with his wife and showed up. I remember him showing up with his I think he had a GoPro like on a selfie stick or something like that. He's like, Ed, we're here. Like I could hear him right outside I watched him walk the window, and he's like, Ed, we're here. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this is
a little backpack on.
Yeah, that backpack. Yeah,
exactly.
Freaking GoPro, man. It was crazy.
It kind of hit a little for me on 100 too, because after the show, we were in the car and Lauren's just like, babe, I'm really proud of you. Like you put like something like you and Gabe and you've put something like this together, and it's really cool. I'm like, dang, getting that from the wifey is awesome. Like, I'm like, we got something cool here.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that Jenny said the same thing to me headed out tonight. Like, I was like, all right, baby, I'm going to go start going set up. And she gave me a kiss. She said, I'm proud of you. And I was like, man, that's crazy. She don't even listen to the show.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly. Chad Fackler in the chat. What new / bad combination of food in the pantry have you tried due to quarantine?
I don't try nothing that I'm unaware of.
Yep.
Yeah. Nothing
I'm
new
like,
here.
I ain't never tried that before. It ain't starting today.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know about that. Y'all tried anything
Fortunately,
weird?
No, we've had, right before all this kind of started happening, we had stocked up. We were like, oh, we just did our big grocery trip. So we've pretty much just been eating like normal for the most part.
Yeah.
Outside of not having Tex-Mex and pizza.
Yeah, and Ed said they've been Hello Freshin' it up.
Yeah.
Nothing new on that thing. If y'all haven't watched Ed's Hello Fresh streams, you're missing out. He's got a 2-camera shoot going on these days.
Exactly.
Yeah,
stepping it up. Got an apron.
Oh, you got a new apron.
I got a new apron.
Is it spoiler to say you got a new apron?
No. I've talked about it on the stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you let everybody know what your new apron is?
My new apron for you Overwatch fans will recognize the as seen in the summer event skin Soldier 76.
Oh, the blue screen is taking it out.
Oh, it's keying it out. But still, that's awesome. Raise the stakes. Nice. Hang on.
Love it.
Oh, Chris, go. He's disappeared into the Death Star. Oh.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, doggone this background thing.
Put it in front of you.
Man, we're all trying to be fancy with this.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Put it right in front of your face, Chris.
Here, let me do this.
There you go.
Nice.
Raise the stakes, baby. So Chris has an Ed doll.
I do have an Ed doll. You got to sign it.
I have a puffy pencil. Does that mean anything to anybody? Great. Okay. Moving on. Is that what we're doing?
I like that. I know all my gaming stuff is like over here out of shot. You can't see any of my
same here.
Overwatch.
For my Gabe doll.
I know you don't have one of those.
Trust me, I do.
I've got a Black Panther.
I don't have a Gabe doll, but I'm really hoping to get a Drakal doll.
Yes. Baby. That's hilarious.
That's gonna happen, right, Stancil? They're gonna make those plushies, and I can buy one.
Speaking of Stancil, and he says, question for Gabe: do you think you will play or stream Crucible while playing as Drakal and speaking in Drakal's voice to mess with / confuse other players? Adoring fans want to know. Please say
you should.
Just for you, Stancil, I definitely will. That it's one of those things where you don't know if you should play as Drakal while doing Drakal, or if I should play as like somebody else doing Drakal's voice, and then that freak people out. Like, wait, where's Drakal?
Who's playing as Drakal? What? I thought we had a Drakal in this lobby.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. What's up? I don't know.
When I went to TwitchCon, I was able to play the game, and I called Gabe beforehand. I was like, "Hey, I'm about to go in and play the game. Which character are you? Because I'm going to choose that character." And so I went in and sat down, and they had us like in the 2 team rows playing, and someone else chose Gabe, and I was like, I'm also choosing this one. And they were like, "Oh, we have 2 of Drakal on this team," and I was like, "Oh, we do?
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, how interesting.
Must be because his voice is so lovely.
Yeah. So I'll play as Summer and then do Drakal the whole time.
There you go.
That'll jack people up.
That's awesome. All right, Neebs, if from the chat, if someone reached into a toy box and pulled you out, what toy would you be?
Teddy Ruxpin.
Ooh.
Will you be my friend?
Yeah, I just like cuddling people. I'm big on the hugs. That's why this quarantine and self-distance thing sucks.
Yep.
I've found that it's my kryptonite. Like when I go out and see somebody I know and I like do that thing where like I want to hug them but I can't because we're in public.
Yeah.
It's my kryptonite, man. So I'm gonna be the cuddly Teddy Ruxpin, and because he talks to you and everything like this. Chris, what are you being if we pulled you out the toy box, Doc?
I'm gonna be a Leonardo Ninja Turtle.
Ooh, nice. The other day, Amara asked us, she was like, "Daddy, do you know all the Ninja Turtle names?" And Jenny was like, "I do." And I was like, "Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Go ahead."
Ooh.
She was like, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael.
Yeah, of
I was like,
course
huh? She's like,
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
I'm like, he wears purple. I'm like, and I was like, Donatello, and he wields a bow staff.
Did Amara know them and was quizzing you?
No, I think she had just seen them or something like that and was wondering if we knew the Ninja Turtles. Because, everything that she sees is new to her. So she's like, Daddy, I was watching this thing and somebody asked him, like, what song you like? And he said, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Isn't that funny? And then we were like, Yeah, that's the old song. Yeah, you get
Right.
Hilarious.
Yeah. What about you, Edward? If you were a toy getting pulled out the old toy box.
Probably a little Lego dude.
Yeah, that's perfect. Everything is awesome, isn't it?
Everything is everything's
Cool
cool
when
if
you're
you're
part
part
of
of a team.
Yeah, that's right.
Ball and cup for me because I'm old.
Yeah, ball and cup, baby.
Cup.
That's funny. I like that.
Rock and Sun.
Rock and sun.
It'd be the slingshot that took Goliath down.
The wheel. The wheel.
The wheel.
Sundial. Josh Stapleton just said sundial. Oh yeah. All right. I'll remember that.
That's
How's that
right.
ladder? You need a little stability on that ladder, home slice?
Yeah. I told Josh he not fooling nobody. He not using no ladder.
That's right.
Josh too tall to use ladders.
That's right.
He's on the first rung and hit his head on the ceiling.
That's hilarious. All right, let's close this out with a good one from the chat. Patrick Novacell. With episode 400 almost in the books, what are your goals / plans for the next 100? Any changes like logo, music, guests, etc.?
You know,
TBD.
What'd you say? Yeah, definitely,
TBD,
definitely
exactly.
TBD. I'd like to do more video. Like this was kind of like, this was one of those things where it's like, man, let's make 400 special, but also we might be able to learn a thing or two while we do a video episode.
Yeah.
You know, is the lag crazy? How's the sound and all these things? How are we going to record it? And so I'd like for us to do more video and get more involved in that kind of thing. And because I feel like we're very involved with our community, but sometimes I don't feel like we're as involved with like just gaming in general. And so I think that if we like talked about more things, which I feel like, you know, funnels into the podcast, but like if we had more outlets and we're doing videos and stuff like that, then it would give us an opportunity to talk about more things. I think.
Yeah,
so I want to say video.
I'm with you. I think it'd be good to do like a video like we do with the press conferences at times.
Yeah.
Maybe just hype it up a little bit more as well, if we all can. I know we all have crazy schedules, and I'm just like super impressed and proud with how we manage it every week. Like I feel like we're really efficient in what we do. Gabe, especially with you on the road, man. I mean, there's a lot of things juggling around that we've got to figure out, and we are able to take time, all get together, all get our stuff together, talk about the games, and you know, and keep this podcast going. So I absolutely love that.
There you go. Edward, the next 100, what would you like to see, bro? Besides you making partner on Twitch.
But besides that, I would like to see and this is still me as a fan saying this. I would like to see when people mention outlets like Kotaku or IGN that they saw this video on, or they did a thing on Married to the Games, you know, kind of like in the same breath.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be awesome.
All right now. Christopher McCracken.
I'm for the idea of more video in whatever aspect that means. I've always been I thought like Married to the Games could really, really benefit from that. And there's always been logistical issues with that. It's not like not from a slacking standpoint. It's been more of a shoot. We're all in different parts of the country. Like, how do we make this happen? And you know, what's the best ways to do that? I do think that would be cool to see us get that squared away and figured out. And there are other things that I feel like by the time we get to 500, we'll have implemented and some changes will be made, but I don't want to talk about them because I want, one, I don't know for sure if they're going to happen, but two, I want it to be a surprise. I don't want anybody to know. I want it to be just like, I don't want to tell you the game. I want to show you, this is the teaser, and you're just going to see it when it happens.
Yep.
Wait, I'm fired, right? Is that what's happening? Okay. I see how it is.
Did that letter not show up?
No.
Your Dear John letter?
Man, when you popped into this call, I was like, huh.
All of a sudden, Tim's screen's just like, bloop.
Yeah, right. That would be awesome.
Surprise announcement, everyone.
That's right.
Remember how Chris said that 3 was perfect?
We meant it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
my
you so much
gosh.
for
Yeah.
hanging out in the chat and giving questions.
Yes,
all
thank
that
you,
kind of
guys.
Stuff. Just
Guys, just think
talking
about
amongst
this
yourselves, enjoying yourselves.
let it sink in for 1 second, because it did, as I'm driving back to set everything up here, like 400 weeks in a row.
It sounds a little silly when you say it out loud.
Stop. Are we crazy, or we're just really committed and we have like attachment issues? I don't know.
I think it's that our community is amazing, and
Yeah.
that's what helps chug this thing along.
And
I
we
mean,
love
this
games.
It's lasted
we love
longer
talking about
than 97% of celebrity marriages.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it's
true.
lasted longer than my first one.
I can't. I'm leaving.
No, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna take my spinny pencil and I'm gone.
I unplugged my headphones on accident.
Ed,
He can't hear
God
us.
Bless you.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Oh Lord.
Oh, Ed, you beautiful
That's
man.
funny, Edward.
I mean,
Okay. All
we
right.
can laugh about it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can.
Yeah, exactly.
Back then, not so much.
No,
Right.
no.
It's like, can I please come over and play some Tony Hawk?
Ugh.
Like, yeah, you can. Oh shoot, that's funny. Anyway, thank you guys
Yes.
so
Yes.
much. Everybody in the chat, those that were gonna come out, make the trip. We were
Yep.
gonna be together this weekend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were gonna be together this weekend, and we're not, but we are making the most of it, and we love you guys so much, and we
Mhm.
so appreciate the family that we have here. The question of the week for you guys is gonna be a little different,
Ooh.
and I'm sticking with the feels that we have going on right now. We
Okay.
asked this question once before, years ago, around Christmas time, and I loved the answers that came in.
Okay.
The question is, what is your first video game memory? Now, here's the twist.
Oh.
702 703 MTTG.
Yes.
Voicemail answers only.
We want to hear your
Oh,
voices.
You
Yes.
guys hear our voices
Good
all
call.
the time. We want to hear your voices. Now, I'm going to say this one time. Don't leave no 5-minute long message.
Right. Yeah. Skip.
Yeah, let's keep it respectful up in here. You know,
Mhm.
let's minute and a half at the most. You know what I mean?
Let's keep it respectful.
Let's keep it respectful of people's time.
Let's keep it respectful. Move along.
Yeah, exactly. And so let us know 702 703 MTTG. I think that's 702 703 6884. Call us and let us know your first video game memory. Burnaby said, can I leave 13
No.
short messages?
The answer is no. Banned.
Yeah.
One time. I.
Yeah, exactly. Chris, do you remember your first video game memory?
My first video game memory was getting my NES
Yeah.
and opening that up. I feel like I had to have played one before then at a friend's or something, but I don't have any memory of that. I just remember opening it up and being super excited and having the box.
Nice. Ed, do you remember your first video game memory?
I don't know what the system. It might have just been a Pong system. We had Pong on our old black and white TV.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was on. It was way before Atari. I know that.
Yeah. Tim?
I remember at my cousin's house playing Super Mario on the Nintendo, and just like I would just sit at the TV and just keep going.
Mm-hmm. My first memory, Nick said Tim had
Nice, Nick.
tablets
Nice,
and chisels.
Nick. Tablets and
Oh,
chisels.
that's
King, 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 king.
Yeah,
Real life jungle hunt.
exactly.
Yeah, real life. Yep.
Actual adventure.
Actual adventure.
My first memory is my dad buying me the NES with the 3 games on one cartridge. It was Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and Track and Field.
Yep, that sounds right.
With the power pad.
Yep.
And him
My cousin
whooping
had
me
that.
mercilessly in that game. I mean, mercilessly.
Yeah.
He did not care that I was a child or that I was under the age of 10. He was winning all those games, and I've passed that down to my children. Amara's always like, Dad, why don't you let me win? I'm like, you ain't gonna get no better if I let you win.
Suck it up. Let's
How
go.
you gonna get better if I let you win? Then you got a false sense of reality. So anyway, that was my first memory. And then I think shortly after that was he bought me Altered Beast. That scared me so bad that he had to take it.
Oh, right.
Oh
Nice.
my gosh. Ooh, gosh. So wait a second. Could you use the power pad with Track and Field? Yeah.
Yep.
Was it World Class Track Meet? Whatever came, Scotty, you might be right. Whatever came on that 3-disc, on the 3-game NES thing.
I remember that. Yeah.
It wasn't Track and Field like the arcade, like
Right.
with the long jump, but it was the other one. You're right.
Yep.
Maybe it was World Class Track Meet. I don't remember what it was called.
It was a track one.
It was, you did Track and Field in it.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let us know. 702-703-MTTG. Leave a voicemail. Let us know your first video game memory, and we will play them next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Episode 400 in the books. I'm your boy, Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games. And we are up out this thing. Peace.
On my screen, I was the only one that got pointed at correctly.
Oh,
yeah, because
really?
it's different on YouTube than it is on my screen.
Oh, that's hilarious. On mine, I pointed to everybody right. Did I point the opposite way? Shoot, doggone it. Is Chris over here then, is what you're saying?
No, you pointed at me right. It was Ed and Tim that were backwards.
Oh, wait, who's here?
Ed.
I am.
Who's there?
So that means
Tim.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, Chris is bottom left for me. Gabe is top left, and Tim is bottom right.
Oh, yeah, because it's Chris's screen. Oh, chat. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Are we still on?
Great.
Yeah, we are.
We love
That's one
you
thing we
guys.
never quite talked about in rehearsal was like, at what point do I hit stop streaming?
Yeah, that's true. Chat, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yes.
We
Yes,
so
yeah, thank you very
appreciate it.
much.
You guys are so awesome. Hopefully, we'll get to work out something
We'll figure it out.
late August, September. We have no
Maybe.
idea. Just
Yeah, maybe.
hopefully.
Yeah.
We don't know when it'll be, but hopefully it's before 500.
Yes.
So we'll keep. And if anybody wants refunds, we'll give them back to you. Of course, we would. I've already given out some. So if you want a refund, hit
Yeah,
your
hit us
boy
up.
up. We'll hook you up. If you don't want a refund, then guess what? You know you got a ticket for when we get
Frankie.
together. What Frankie said.
I missed it.
Oh, jeez, Frankie.
Frankie just got here. I missed it. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Good thing it'll be on video on demand here in a little bit.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, Frankie. That
Happy
is
for
that's
Jillian.
I missed it. Oh, Raven's getting married in August. Congratulations, Lim.
Oh, very nice.
Got one off.
Nice.
Got one off, baby.
Right.
Josh Stapleton says he has 6 months to use his plane voucher.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully, you know, just
When
before
planes
6
actually
months.
aren't grounded anymore.
Exactly. I'm hoping that they have like a no more than 100 people meeting at once, and we'll be like, no problem.
Yeah, we got that.
TG
Yeah.
we'll be under the 100. So it could be that. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll do this again. We need to do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
We'll
fun.
open it up. Thank you for being our
Inaugural.
our test run.
Yeah.
Inaugural test
I
run
think it went great.
of doing the live thing. Did it chat, can you let us know, did it go good for you guys in the chat? How
I
did
feel
this
like
show
the
go?
chat
Did it feel
caught
like it
up
went
with
well?
us. At some point, it felt like we were way ahead. And toward the end here, I feel like we're almost in sync with the chat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. It was an awful experience. I want my money back for this. Yeah, no, I understand. I don't understand. Next time I'm calling Gabe in the middle of the night to pick me up. Yeah, that's right, because they came in the middle of the night. It was great, 100%. That's good. So we're using Zoom. So we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah.
We won't wait like 50 episodes. I think this is fun. It's really fun to get the back and forth there. So yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
We'll see you guys
for
later.
hanging out.
Peace out.